page 7 of the Kurukulla Center Prayer Book. We'll start with Refuge and Bodhicitta and follow the regular Sunday morning prayers following the order in the prayer book. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, freed from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, forms supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms atoms in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of God's protectors' heart, to tip of this fresh, pure, white heap, curd like cloud, Olo Sangdragpa, Dharma's omniscient King, pray come to this place with your disciples, in space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable Guru, smile brightly with delight, pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine, as supreme merit field for my mind of faith. Your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables, your eloquent speech adorns fortunate ears, your beauteous body, fame, glory outstanding, homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see, pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit, non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginningless time, especially what have contradicted three vows, each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you show to learn and practice, shunned eight mundane concerns, made life essence full. O protector from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable Gurus from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your Dharmakaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound Dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue that I've here gathered bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make Venerable Sangdragpa's essential teachings specially shine forever. Made say wait chen rezig, dream kien pe wang po jam pel yang, du pung malu jom ze sang wei dog, gang chen ke pe tsu yen Tsongkhapa, lo sang drag pe jab la so adem. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me emptiness, until supreme awakening remains steadfast. Homage to the exalted three jewels. Thus have I heard at one time. The Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this. Subsequently, looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty, without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. No visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no eye element, and so forth, up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance, and so forth, up to no aging and death, and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path. No exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom. And because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Tayata, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had heard this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the Great Being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the host of the three places Dakinis. Tayata, Om, Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoha. Through the power of truth of the exalted three jewels speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, Shanti Kuruye Soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse harmful conditions. May all be perfect auspiciousness, bring happiness and well-being here right now. Saji perki jukshin me to traham ri rabling ji yi degyen padi sangye jingdu mikte uan gidro kunamdan jingla chirpashu jetsun lamadam pakyenam hi chirkui kalam kien se trindrigne jitat sampe duljet zinma lahazab yechurki charpawab tu so idam guru ratna mandalakam niryatayami Chudang Soki Chognam La Jangju Bardu Dagni Kyap Suchi Dagi Chernyen Gi Pesonam Ki Rola Penchir Sangye Drupashu Chudang Soki Chognam La Jangju Bardu Dagni Kyap Suchi Dagi Chernyen Gi Pesonam Ki Rola Penchir Sangye Drupashu Chudang Soki Chognam La Jangju Bardu Dagni Kyap Suchi Dagi Chernyen Gi Pesonam Ki Drola Penchir Sangye Drupashu
Good morning, everyone. You feel no cold?
No cold.
Wow. Here is too strong. Everyone is dead. Bring back their old. What a winter coats. Yes, iced coffee. It's really. She has more strong for fire element. I think we have more strong to water element. So easy to get cold. Anyway, but it's very clear skies, very wonderful. And anyway, I want to set up perfect motivation to benefit for all beings. Therefore, I'm practice, I'm meditation, I'm study for benefit for others. You know, if you do benefit for others, like the motivation, if you do good things, you already include that. But the motivation makes it, more powerful, more grateful. Example is I want to benefit for other beings, other people, then I'm going to take the doctor's duty. Then you have doctor's duty. You are a doctor. You have very great education. You can get very good jobs. Therefore, your motivation is to benefit others, but you already got the great, achievement, whatever you like. And therefore, in order to benefit for others, but right now we are not stand our own feet. We have problem all the time. Therefore, first we need to free from suffering for ourselves. Then we can help for others. You say, or someone say, I like to take care of others, be a doctor. But first you need to, cheap or doctor's education. Then you can help others. Without your doctor's, education, you cannot help for others like doctors do that. Therefore, also how much we have strong to thinking for others, then we also have less attachment, jealous, hatred for others. Therefore, all the problems come from for we think others, but we don't really taking serious. If no one bother us, we say, oh, for other beings. Someone bother us, then we say, shh. Right? Therefore, more importance, if someone bother you, that's most important to you understand. There's the other, whoever bother you, is also not intentionally, I won't bother them, but read their ignorance for others also. How they say, how they use words like that kind, then their words bother you. Therefore, that time you think, oh, it's just maybe he or she not know reality. If you don't care much, then they don't bother much. You say, wow, this is not true. Wow, this is very bad. Wow, this is not good. Then they very hurt you, any kind. Therefore, all of you, for all of us, especially all of you, very think about others all the time. Wow, benefit other things. But someone bother us, that very need to be practice. Use for our practice. Use. Not just all the time save there. Sometimes we bring back to use. Usually I think we save our practice. We say, okay, practice, just leave the out. But our practice we have to take with us all the time. Therefore, even you want someone intentionally harms for us, bother us, those person also very strong mind for self-church, self-church. Also, they don't thinking that those person. Therefore, how much strong develop for our have thinking for others, then we are blessed mind, thinking others to more hatred, more jealous like that. Because there's two different minds, they come from one object. Therefore, one go down, one come up. It's nature. When we put fire on the water, but the fire be more hot, water be more hot. The cold water completely just go down, just automatic. The fire go down, then cold starts, then hot water be just automatically go away. Therefore, just contradict all the, if you really, that means, you don't do anything yourself. Try to always others, not like that. Well, of course, we have to take ourselves, physically, mentally, financially, everything, but Usually we don't, especially here, we don't kill others, we don't steal others. But problems, we hate most, someone bother us, we hate them. And we don't like them, we bother, we just automatically go down. This is a problem. Because they mix for you, for us, not comfortable. They take away for our peaceful mind, peaceful life. This is not good, right? We all wish to peace mind, peace family, peace neighbors. But angry, jealous mix for us all take out our peace mind. Therefore, then how we stop that? It's not easy. Someone said, don't angry. So how can I do without angry? It's not possible. They bother me, Someone hits my car. I said, well, of course I get angry. If they say, okay, I'm sorry, my insurance pay for you, then it's okay. Someone, no, this is not my fault, your fault, then we have to fight. Right? Then say, how can I get that? It's not possible without angry to do any the difficult challenges. During that time, this is just an example, someone hit your car. Of course they have to, this law, they can pay that, but not just get angry, just talk nicely, each other, just make things soft. Not just, usually here they don't do that, they're all very, I don't know, maybe they don't say, I didn't do it, that's your fault. But then just try more, understand, reality. Because we bother other people, right? What we say, what we action, what we type. But our motivation is not plain to harm others, right? I need to bother them, or I need to make angry. You don't say that. I need to make angry for them. Not, but for our action, the other person understand, they make like that. Therefore, someone bother us also. They're not, maybe 99% they're not, intentionally I want to bother them, but the actions they do. Then you really understand that, then also the less get angry. The Shantideva text, which verse, which chapter can you? Sixth chapter? Patience. Yeah, if you read very carefully this text, we don't get any place to get angry. Because we say, because I'm angry there, then they give another reason. Then we say, because that, then they give a lot of reasons. Then you really think, so, yeah, it's really true. Therefore, like this kind is not just Buddha at all we have to follow. Even Buddha himself said, I find this idea that, but you check yourself. If you just say, Buddha said I have to follow just without checking, that's not good. He give complete for us to, free or check. Therefore, we have to check. If you really think you understand, you are thinking you understand, then more stable, also more powerful. Otherwise, Buddha said, don't angry, don't jealous. We have to try that. It's really not move for our mind. Always thinking, always debate yourself, okay? Because that, it's not working. You can meditation also like that. Not, nothing thinking, just stay a couple hours. Maybe it's also good you just keep your mind, switch off your mind, go to everywhere. But most thing, is okay. They say, don't angry. How can I come in without angry? They bother me. Then we say, okay, how they bother you? If they want to bother you, then maybe we don't ask, he doesn't like me. She doesn't like me, therefore they bother you. We give reason that. Then just switch back us. Did I make people angry sometimes? Yeah, sometimes, right? Sometimes people say, what we will say, people get angry. Then we say, did I very intentionally I want to get angry with them? Make them uncomfortable? No, right? But for our ignorant, the other persons also ignorant both together, then makes the fire. Therefore, the Buddha's teaching is very important to check yourself. Learn, check yourself. Without learning, you cannot check anything, right? First, you have to learn whatever then you can investigation. It's true or not, it's a walk or not. That means also, first year you then check, then next year you check, not like that. Whatever you see, whatever you heard, whatever you learn the book, then you think, oh, that's true or not. If something doesn't work, then we can also discussion. We need to always, because. Without reason, it's also not very stable. Okay? Like that. Then, we really talk to them all the time, hundreds of millions, thousands of times, we say all the problems come from the ignorance. Then we have to check it's true or not. No one really want angry. No one really want to get hated, but they all just already come. This is, without knowing the reality for others' actions, any activities. And therefore, we have to try our best. The studies are very, very important. Try to then check. Also, you study, so many study, you don't have anything to thinking here. This is not good. You have to study, put together. All the Buddhism, Mahayana, Hinayana, Tantra, Sutra, they all relate to each other. Usually the Tantra is the highest practitioner, because those person Tantra is the more, they use the more powerful the energy for the knowledge. In order to come there, we need to sutra, foundation. Compassion, loving kindness, renunciation. We cannot leave something here. Like we eat the banana. Banana, you have to peel the how you say, papa, skin. We throw up. But in order to achieve enlightenment, we have nothing to peel. Mind, and we have to study all things, check all things. Therefore, also, without foundation or the sutra, we cannot practice the tantra. We cannot jump that. Lama Tsongkhapa say, karo, chiyo, yun de shivan karo, tomolamjana, I don't know. Tomolamjana, no de jivana, teoganya, tomolamjana. Tomolamjana is, tomom is what? Common path. Common path study, after then you can join to that, Tantra. Therefore, what is the common practice? The compassion, bodhicitta, renunciation, think about dead impermanent, and emptiness, and cause and effect, like this kind of things. Okay? Okay, like that. Then Buddha composed all the religions put together with 10 virtues. This is for our everyday we're doing, every day. Therefore, we stop there, then we stop create the new karma. Then we start create the good karma every day. Then bad karma be one day finish. They're not permanent. It is also impermanent. Okay? That didn't do with the cousin and Magiwa Chinema, Sunday, he was Magiwa Chachata, Mutis, and somehow could also Magiwa Chakalimba.
And so we have already talked about the 10 non-virtuous actions, so you all know what are the 10 non-virtuous actions, right?
What? What's the name? That Kazada, the Magiwa Kani Shavala, Shua Yanata, and Deolani, and they would check at it, and they would chonk and they would do and was starting in the Okarikariores, not like they was.
And then we talked about what are the consequences or results of having engaged in 10 non-virtuous actions, the great result, small result, or the medium result. So whether it's big or not, depends on many things. It depends on the nature itself, nature of the non-virtuous action, the intention, and then the action, how you engage in, and then so forth. So you cannot say, oh, this is a big negative karma, or that's a small negative karma. It depends on many of these things. So you're talking about in the next topic or outline, it talks about the results of these karmas. And they say there are 3 types: ripened results, results congruent with the cause, and environmental results. And the ripening result, would be like, for example, if you create the non-virtuous actions of killing, then you'll be born in the lower realm, in a hell realm, in a hungry ghost realm, or animal realm. That will be the ripening result.
And the gentle intervasena, any touch coa. She doesn't so my younger was. Any Kandi all man to us. When I'm Magiwa Choteta Jang, Drevo, Tene, gently new agent, but the gentle travel and new agent, Shibaji, or
So it says there are 3 kinds of results, but you can divide into 4 when you subdivide the result congruent with the cause into 2 as experience congruent and a behavior congruent. And so, so depending on how big the negative karma is, so depending on the nature, the basis, the intention, the action, and so forth. Right? So depending on that, if it's a great negative karma, then the result will be the hell realm. If it's small, it will be animal realm. If it's medium, then it will be hungry ghost realm.
What depends on the was? Ani sojo dawalan, sona nomi jindewa nyawachin, namshi tene tane majajang, ani ko nyuwa jiti jindewa, ani tsetunshi, ani nemawa, ordinary yungore.
And then it says here, right, that let's take the killing as an example. Ripening result will be birth in hell. Later on, gets free of the hells and is born as a human being. But one's life is short, with the much sickness, the experience congruent, with the cause. So the result congruent with the experience, experience is congruent with the cause. Will be because you made the others to experience a short life, so you'll experience also a short life. That will be the experience congruent with the cause.
파초가 강사도 어떻게 절랍서다 되지. 다 쉐바 진트진 저거라 아니 코랑이 끼워놓으면 간이 시에다 디그 바자 디왕게 소체가 가오지 마이나 디그 바자 왕가 텐들라 양지 동부보기 끼워서만 소체지 가오는 어떤 얘기도 was.
And then the behavior and congruent, with the cause, will be like, you will have a similar kind of behavior. So before, because you had this behavior or habit, of killing, and so in the next life also you will have this habit of killing. Like some people, even their child, so even from their childhood, they are very like, keen in torturing and killing, other sentient beings.
아니 나도 주요 나도 파마라나 뭐라 오더라도나 세 조금 말해 들려다. 뭐 주진 통화도 다 지못해 세셔가 되는데 와서 어다대 셰바지도 인다고 말해서.
So some children, from their very young age, even if they were not taught, they will like say, oh no, don't kill, it's not good to kill. Even they were not taught, right? And some they even they are not taught, they just go and kill, as a game or play. In a form of a play, they just go and kill. So that's like the a behavior or experience. The behavior corresponding with the cause. So you see some children, so they are not even taught, to do a good or bad, but they just know what is good or what is bad, right?
고랑기 지다 가로 시가 오들려나 들이 시가데 다 고랑기 제왕 막 가리가리죠 되게 레버데 고 빠져도 많이 레데 그랬어.
So that child's behavior of killing or not killing, it comes from the previous lives.
그냥 나도 로나다 제 조마치 제나 약보를 직제나 약보 말도 뭐 몰랍고 그러와. 근데 가로 당 뿌이간 말랍고네 고들에 곰리셔오지 레게도.
So something that they were not taught in this life, so from the time they were born, they were never taught, but they just know it by themselves. So that's the behavior, corresponding with the cause that they carried from the previous life. But of course, if you taught them in this life, then that's different, right? So they do it because you taught them, and so from that they understand and they don't do it.
근데 부나도 부 가시 시가 가시 부시가 여럽세. 가시 부시가 말없세 너도 령도. 근데 부 고랑기 기왕 가면 레기인데 버려마시. 저대가 알아야 돼요.
So some people, they are very bad behavior. Some people, they have very good behavior, right? So from the time they were born, as a child, they are very, some they are good behaved, some they are bad, and of course, it depends. Some, in this life's lesson or the teachings, but they carry a lot from the previous lives.
그래, 다 단대 내 진지들 아니 되는 종어를 다 단대 세대다 배나 자tun도 사야단 통야라서 뒤로 먹어 봐. 근데 단다 미카신도 간지 소체다 들lum바 쪼들에 지까지나 사야 통야 강에 때라야 lum바들 나산담들 몸을 되는데 또 강사 되게 단대 말이 들어.
And then it says the environmental results occur in the surrounding world, like the food, drink, medicine, and so on, have little power. And after we have been born in the hell, living with our bodies. So when we, like for example, some people, they are born in a place where there's no, enough food, right? And where there's a lot of diseases and so forth. So that is the environmental result of, having created the non-virtuous action.
다도 두가레스 갈나 아니 코 냐와지나 냐와체 레데 센도 콜 양치와시 말레로 다 미레 체네 소치라 가와 아니 지 밀라 컨트롤라야 가오 텐데 쇼와이나 디게 양조 레사네 양조 소소마 냐와체 마로 레스 딜 두가랍도스.
And so it says that even if you are in a place where you can have a medicine and a food, but they don't nourish you or don't have the power to heal you, that's the environmental result also. And it says after we have been born in hell and lived with our bodies indistinguishable from the fires there, we could even be born among humans as an evildoer who likes to kill. So our killing perpetuates this process, and we are again thrown into the lower realms. The Yagaras. So it is said that, so it is said that, so to be born in the hell, to be born in the hell where your body is burnt, or indistinguishable with the fire, is better, than to be born as a human being where you repeatedly create those kind of negative karma again. So, for example, if somebody who commits crime and goes to the is thrown in the jail, and while he's in the jail, he goes through the punishment, but he doesn't create crime, right? But if he comes out and then he creates a crime again and again, then it'll be better for him to be in a jail than to come out and create more crime. That makes sense? So, we're comparing here, not saying that it's better to be born in the hell, but we're comparing to that life. And so in here is saying that the result of behavior congruent with the cause is worse than the ripening result of being born in the hell. So anyway, it is important to not repeat those negative karmas again and again. And so that's what it says here, the most disheartening results of all are the behaviors congruent with the cause. So that's the most worst or disheartening. And and so after being born as a human being with all the leisures and endowments to practice Dharma, if we don't put that into practicing Dharma, then it will be a great loss, right?
No. Then 뭐라 미세 남들은 나마다 개념인데 내가 뭐랑 직 양사절에 대화 지야지. 직다 부이자는 부이한테 주주에 받나 정도 시험 보고 말아 와시. 대 코나 뭐랑 게 있다 시바진 되는 거 용어로 왔어.
And so also like I saw the other day there was this little girl, although her parents were not Buddhists, but she had very strong faith in the Buddha. And so that shows because she was never taught about Buddha, never told that Buddha should respect the Buddha and have faith in Buddha, but she had automatically. So that shows the result and corresponding with the cause. That's in terms of the behavior from her previous life.
근데 보고도 배는 안 들어오는 거도 첨부 차트에 담아라 아니 어디다 부자자 요 지기선에 신에 고 삼로단 들리자 다 부추주도 좀 이제 쓰지 고 티징도 돼 제요 말와 아니 코로나 추주 받을 때 내기 다 삼도 세고 나면도 간이 되게 시가지 온도 다 대시 받는 데 버서 들려야 돼요.
So we are taught, and after we grow up, so we're taught about Buddhism, about Buddha, and then we come to understand and we come to develop faith and respect towards Buddha. So that is not, that's a different case. But someone like a child, who was not taught, and especially who was, born in a family who doesn't believe in Buddhism, then definitely shows that that's the behavior corresponding with the cause.
Pabongka 보고 그러면 야랍지요. Pabongka 저 당벌레는 말업될래기도 왔다. 말업생이 쓰디 하고 있는 것이. 근데 그 그런 게 이미지 지금 레마다에 쌓여야 되게 저용으로 왔어.
And so, some this is a good example, right? So the child, who's born in such a family like that, and also like some children, they are born with a very a good behavior, and some children they are bad with born with a bad behavior. And even if their parents, didn't teach them to be good or bad, they just, become like that. And so this clearly shows that it is the result, corresponding to their cause of having a good behavior in the previous life.
근데 나라서 너는 이미 레지 싸셔 봐야 되지나. 깨도 많던데 다 전부들 맞아 봐대. 무슨 딱 가로 다간지 주고 내기 단 냠리 자로 좀 맞아 봐서.
And so, of course, we have created all these causes in the previous lives, and we have all these environmental, the results, result correspond to the cause in terms of behavior, in terms of the experience. We have that, right? We all have that. So, in this life, it's important, to be conscientious and not engage in the non-virtuous action, which will create us, create a cause for us to experience those kind of results in the future. So attachment, anger, ignorance, is bad, generally bad, and for anybody, right? But is it something considered as something bad only by those who believe in religion, or even those who doesn't believe in religion? And so the question is whether they consider that as or not. And then another question is, does it really, is it really bad for all of us? Yeah? So no, it's in general it is bad for all of us, right? So no, whether you believe or consider that as bad or not, that gives us problem. So by nature it's bad, right? So in the religion, especially in Buddhism, right? We have a method, and we consider that as a bad, and we have a method to overcome that. Yeah? And we say we can overcome that. Right? We can overcome that, and there's a method to overcome that. And it's to develop the counter, the counter force. But some people didn't believe in that. They said, that's how I'm born. That's my nature, to be an angry person, to be a jealous person. That's my nature. I'm like that, so what can I do? So people say like that. But that's, as if it cannot be changed at all. But that's not true. You can be changed. Because it shows that when we are angry, if it's in our nature, then we should be angry all the time, right? But we're not angry all the time. We're angry only when we meet with certain conditions. So that already shows that it is not by nature, and it can be changed. And that also relates to the emptiness, right? The empty offering and existing from is one side. And so when you understand that, then becoming angry will become less. And so the nature of the impermanence is that it changes by cause and condition. That's the nature of the impermanence. So anger is impermanent, right? And therefore it can be changed, by cause. So because in Buddhism, especially in Buddhism, in general, but that's how it is presented in Buddhism, that things that are impermanent, can be changed by dependent on cause and conditions.
Okay.
And so there are methods, and we can apply that to overcome those afflictive emotions in our mind, not thinking that, oh, I become angry, that's my nature, not sticking with that thought, but looking for ways to overcome that is what we should do.
And Gewa Geshe, T Tande can gain and train it, that teaching you develop and then also she's similar. Kanji Chushiwa Gawa, Monoshawa Gawa, Legendo, Teoko, much much
and also, that we having the interest, to practice Dharma, to study Dharma, is also a result. corresponding with the cause in terms of the behavior. So, of course, it can develop in this life, but just to have that nature, instantly, that interest, to practice or to study Dharma, it also comes, from the previous lives. And so this is we explain this with the example applying to the killing, right? But you can apply this, to all of the non-virtuous actions, like stealing, sexual misconduct, and so forth.
아니 다 조모조모서 라운드와 아니 지금 좋아해나 수수 재미하는 그렇다데 소마다와 아니 재미는 좋아 소마다와 근데 얘기 아니 그러나 아니 제 수수 칼라 제지 수수 칼라바데 제지 될 덤바만 점바 아니 자시 뇨와 고요 소다 잔도와 아니 그러나 수수라 제지 문제만 다도 아니 마시바 네 렘베 뇨와진데레스.
And so there it says, now we will deal with the other non-virtues, taking things not given, which is stealing, right? And so on in order. So experience congruent with the cause, the stealing. For stealing, you will lack possessions or have to share them with others. For sexual misconduct, you will be unable to keep your followers, servants, or spouses. For lying, others will not believe you. For divisive speech, you will have few friends, without followers, servants, and so forth. For insulting words, harsh words, others will speak ill of you. For idle gossiping, and your words will carry little weight because others will think little of what you say. So, do you have any experience of these results?
근데 더도 가도 다들 내가 사셔게 말이야. 그 제와 능력에 내다 사셔만 다 레오다 산다데 tud되게 그랬어.
And so it's not something that we may have created in this life, could be a result, from the negative actions created in the previous lives.
그래와. 근데 되면 봐. 아니 지타천데 저와. 아니 드리고도 들어와. 이한도 왜 따와라 못 봐줘.
And then it says you will have, and then for the covetousness, you will not achieve your aim. For a harmful intent, you will be terrified, and for wrong views, you will be blind to right views.
다른 것도 들어와야겠다. 다뭐 디파 맛이 세되겠는데, 아니 제 림보요와 람도요 쳔보요와, 아니 추전에 세되겠는데, 아니 제요 림보메와 람도요 메와 강이 뭐데 간질래 그래서 딴 것도 도바질래 그러는데.
And now comes the $1 million question. So some people, so some sinners have long lives, which all goes well for them. Right? Some people who create negative karma all the time, very bad, very harmful to others, and always doing bad things. But they have a lot of wealth. Many people are supporting them, and a lot of a very long life, and so forth. So why is that?
Previous one.
배세디나가 다 알아서 되는 동안에 가도 되는 영화들 세대 주보 말해서 그 제와 매매가 제다 제 들라래도 와다는 영화들 그래서 세대 주보를 가도 상당히 말해서.
So like you said, it's here it says, right? There are many causes for this. The causes for these effects are in past lives, right? When something undesirable happens to us in this rebirth, we think that other more immediate circumstances, ourselves or others, are responsible, but this is not so. Normally these things are created by karma from past lives.
그래서 나도 내 지금 너니 계시 강이 어디 왔대 딱 나도 대리직 차서 대리녀서 대 말해서 대치는 게 제와 매매에게 레사셔 대라 켄테 되는 건데도 많이 말해서.
And so every experience that we go through in this life, or today, on this day, we think, oh, because I did that, because it's not necessarily that way. So it could be the result of, from your previous life's negative karma.
Okay.
So for harmful intent, you will be
terrified. What does that mean, actually?
그래서
신한 거야. 답변에 소속이 봐서 세는 넣습니다. 넣습니다. 배지는 먼저 배지는 어디 라베서 말해. 얘나 넣습기 때다 데볼라 넣습 제바나 넣습 열어. 넣습기 데볼라 된 지라게 해서 돼. 지라게 해서 넣습기 데보 그랬다.
다들
가르치
같이
걸었어요.
근데서 딱 먼저 미 셴발라 봐 아니 싸만 나보지 직접이나 미 봐주고 마대와 이거다. 아니 소소라 양식 가지 이제 다 제거와 내보면 왔다 연구열에서 딘저버디 그마 소소 미 셴바 내보면 소리 내버려서.
And so, when you experience some kind of fear, you're terrified of fear, that is the result of having the harmful intention. So when you have harmful intention, it's the thought to harm others, right? And carried by that thought, then you might engage, you might not, but even just having that thought, creates this negative karma. I mean, the result, of having a fear in these lives.
So if a person is,
let's say I'm always concerned about being harmed by somebody else. In other words, they're doing something I don't like, or they're saying something I don't like, or they're doing something basically that might disturb me. That's from this harmful intent.
그다음에 소속하더는 즉 샘대제자라 샘대샤다 제등지라 거에 되는 지는 가능성 거에 되는 맞는 가능성에서 즉 샘대제자라 데이터 다가랑 소소 되게 로드 메도서 워다 샘대제자되기 데이터 너습게 되고 그래서 그래.
그 바지 저 엄마 된데 다 바지 내로 자르고 와.
Yeah, it could be.
야.
Yeah.
대단히 말다. 저 엄마 비비 저 뭐라 저러 왔던데 지디.
Yeah, one of the previous lives, right? So one of the previous lives, not necessarily the immediate previous life, but whichever life we had in the past, and during which time we created that harmful intention, then it could be the result of that. Yeah.
이마 저 뭐뭐 가서 때리면 소소모네 소소 제체네 미션바 다지 답도 뭐뭐 소위 잠지 다 젬베기 내가 전화지나 소소 답도 뭐 영어데 다그네 셔바지네 뭐 저러고 왔어.
And so, you thought about somebody bad, when they did something, and then you said, oh, how could I make it, bad for that person? Yeah? And because of that, then maybe whenever, you have, whatever things happen to you this life, it says, oh, maybe he will do something like that, maybe he or she will do something like that, bad, to me, and so forth. So that could be a result of those harmful intentions that you had in the past.
Did that? Yes.
So you talked about the behavior continuing. So if I have the thought that somebody maybe is going to hurt me, and I recognize that, and then I say to myself, okay, I recognize that I'm nervous. And then I do something that I don't really like, but I don't respond negatively, so my intention is not to respond negatively, so I just accept whatever happens in as neutral a way as possible. Is that the antidote for, is that an antidote? I'm not sure how to ask that question. Is that a way to change it?
네. 답변은 미시다겠다. 소설직 심대체 좋아져라. 심대랑 좋아져. 근데 다 되게 개마 다 되게만 가는 게다 주사가 되버렸어. 안다 개마 말아서는 내가 다 가서 말한 게다 낭매치네 샤샤와이나. 안다 다 뒤님부 차거를 왜서다.
대다 이수님보다 다 되게 소소 즉 선바 맞지와 매와 마와 마와 팽으로 왔어. 소소 다 dinga 나 레치민 되고 선배 공부해서 때 돈을 많이 팽으로서. 얘나야 내가 돈을 치도 맞이 샤샤 기자 말스러. 대 마용화도 대 된제 머리에 답시적으로 왔어.
Well, so the experiencing that, or experiencing that, in other words, is accepting that, right? So you say, okay, so I get this concern, fear, but this is the result of my negative karma that I must have created in the previous life. And by thinking that, you accept that, so you will not have to, experience it again. So you experience the result. So then the result of negative karma that you have created might have extinguished there now, but you cannot call that antidote. Antidote is something that you apply so that you will not have that kind of thought again in the future. See, this result that you have now is the result of the action of the harmful intention, right? So whatever antidote you apply to overcome the harmful intention, that will be the antidote. So just accepting that will not become antidote. So, for example, like if some, a kid playing in the street happened to throw a stone and, broke your windshield, then, of course, it's bad, right? So it happens. So, and then you don't become angry. Says, oh, it's okay. Maybe the boy did it accidentally. He didn't intentionally, break my windshield, but it happened maybe accidentally. So then you talk to the parents or something, without becoming angry. You can do that. It doesn't mean that when you accept, just accept it and don't talk about it at all. It doesn't mean that. And so you can talk and get to the solution like that, but it doesn't mean that you cannot talk at all. You can talk. So just say, oh, this is my karma. Then sit there like that, and that doesn't not saying like that. So anyway, if you accept and don't become angry and accept that this is your result of the negative karma, then that will help to bring the peace of your mind. At least it do not disturb your mind. And so whenever we experience something, we always should think, oh, what could be the cause of this, and then think about, the all point, to our karma, negative karma, our delusions, and so forth. So, because we study Dharma, we understand this, but of course other people will not understand that. When you look for the cause, and this is the result of our one negative karma, right? The karma and the delusion, and especially the delusion, right? So the karma is created because of the delusion, and the delusion, among all the delusions, especially the ignorance, right? The delusion, ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, and so it's because of that. So just like we, they also have that, and because of that, they created this karma of breaking or injuring me and so forth. And so if we think like that, then we'll see the root of that is the delusion, especially the self-grasping ignorance. So when you apply antidote to overcome that, then you will be free from all those sufferings.
Okay, is it a little make sense? You understand a little bit?
So again, on the other hand, even though it is our native karma, but then because of that, you shouldn't think, oh, I must be so bad, Then don't put yourself down too much. That can also become a cause, for other things, to happen, or at least, to make yourself look down and be very shameful and so forth, So don't do like that again. And then instead, say, oh, this is the result of negative karma that I've created in the past, so I should not engage in this kind of negative karma again in the future. So that prevents you from doing what you did in the past. And then also it says like, oh, like I don't want to experience this. Other people don't want to experience it either. So may others not experience this kind of horrible thing also. So if you think like that, then that becomes a practice of taking and giving.
Jang give a drawing. Jang chena ngato give a chant take it was. Jang matena ngato give a chant you matters.
So for the Dharma practitioners, adverse condition is better. So when you meet with this kind of adverse conditions, then that puts us into practice Dharma. But if you don't understand Dharma, then maybe it'll be even more, right? But for those who understand Dharma, then it's better, to go through bad experience, and so that will make us, to engage in virtuous actions.
And then those loud somebody, what the thing on the Galawa is, what the Galawa is Tentona, that shooting one could tantal popular.
And so if at the time when we hear or read, we hear that or read, and get this kind of advices, then if you say, oh, this is talking about me, it's talking about me, then it's becoming effective, to you. Otherwise, if you say, oh, maybe it's talking about somebody else, then it doesn't help you at all. So then it's not effective to you.
Okay? Yes, okay, yeah.
I just have a quick one about Karen's example. So I'm still confused as to what is an antidote to Karen's example. I can see what you're saying, but I don't understand. You said it wasn't an antidote. So what's the antidote?
So antidote is something that you apply forcefully to overcome the other thing, right? So again, it's the negative karma. So just experience the result. You exhausted the karma that you have created, but then you might create more karma again, right? So you have not applied antidote to that. So you have exhausted that result of that negative karma, so that negative karma is gone. But that kind of negative karma, still you may keep on creating, right? And so the real antidote will be to think that that's bad and say, not going to do it again. But that is just a temporary antidote. So as long as you have delusion, then that may again happen. Now you are conscious, you're you're knowledgeable, you understand, you can think that. But what if you're born as an animal? Then you won't be able to think like that, right? So then, but if you have the delusion, then you still may have that kind of thought again, harmful intention again. And so the real antidote would be, like we said, cutting the root of the delusion, self-grasping ignorance. From where comes all the other afflictive emotions, from where comes all the negative karmas. So that will be the real antidote. Self-grasping,
okay? But it's not easy. It takes more time, years, maybe eons. Eons is long, but slowly.
So understanding that is negative karma. The having a harmful intention is negative karma. Understanding that is very important, first of all, right? People, have that harmful intention because of not knowing how bad it is, right? So first, if you understand that as a bad thing, then you will stop it. So first, understanding that as a bad is very important. And in addition to that, knowing that, and then accepting the result, saying, oh, this is the result of my negative karma, so nobody else to be blamed for that, and that's even better, right? So then you accept it, and you don't have further suffering on that.
Okay. Okay, now you.
My question is, let's say a person, well, myself in this instance, is like a cause to something bad happening, although I didn't have an intention. And I guess what I'm specifically referring to is a car accident that I was in. That basically they were at fault, had gone in front of me, I hit them. Their vehicle flipped over, and they, everyone was okay. I was, not a mark on me. The same with them. But I carry now a fear of thinking because I was the cause for that to happen and to create fear in them, I now am afraid that, I'm going to get in an accident now. so that's now I possess fear of driving sometimes because I think I'm just waiting for that to come back to me, even though I didn't purposely hit the person. I didn't, and I felt terrible after. So I didn't like rejoice in my mind and say, oh yeah, I really stuck it to them. That's not what I was thinking at all. So that's like, so, and it goes together with what they were saying about, having fear. That why do I now have a fear of driving, a fear of accidents when? So I don't know. I guess that's the situation that I'm afraid that I became the cause for that to happen, just by driving to the bank on one day. So I guess that's my. I don't know.
말다 코란다 대셔야되도 거기다 이게 괜찮아라. 유등에만 사요라 그러게. 다다는 그 동도자디 다 그런 게 괜찮아라. 다다 그 집어용하기 괜찮아라. 안 되다. 대 집어용하기 괜찮아인데 다그 집어게도 텔레 맞아도 그 유등에 명령만 사자라. 말해.
그래 그저 사사로. 그 깨지는 그때 바쪽어디 와도 거야 주어도 그 깨져서 말아. 그 동도자디 그 깨는 거라나. 이나 다나처럼 그냥 날 텐데 용어를 지금은 더 시나 제고 말더라. 완전히 저우셔야 돼. 저거까지 종이 좀 자동 상상이 되는다 내가 그렇게 해야 되거든.
So again, when we talk about accepting it, and that's very important, right? So if we accept it, then it becomes very small, and it just ends there sometime, and it becomes small and ends there. But if we don't accept it, then it becomes even more and more suffering for us. So like in your case, maybe, of course, definitely we wouldn't be able to say what is the cause and what is the condition for a specific experience that we go through. But in terms of, in general, like a fear, thinking that, oh, I might again hit somebody, while I'm driving, that fear, or the fear that you got, from that accident, definitely is the result of a negative karma. And in this case, according to the text, according to this teaching, it would be a harmful action. Right? And so you have, in one of the previous lives, you have created a harmful thought towards somebody, and then as a result, you have a fear in this life. And so that fear, again, even though there's a cause, but the fear to arise, it has to meet with the condition. So the accident will be a condition. So the accident will be a condition for the fear to arise, and the real cause is the harmful intention that you have created in one of the previous lives. So again, like if you accept that, you understand, oh, must be the result of my negative karma of, generating harmful intention towards somebody. So and by experiencing this, I have now purified that negative karma, and in the future I should not have this kind of things. So if you think like that, then your fear will go away. Yeah. So that's that's the nature. It's not like that will be there all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
I have a different question.
Okay. 근데 지금 마치 개미 페이지에서 말했다. 근데 나도 몇 두자이라도 다들 나 타야면 좀 들으상고 말더라.
And so, understanding that, then we can engage in positive karma and try to prevent ourselves from creating a negative karma. So that's what we should do, instead of thinking, oh, I'm a very bad person, and putting yourself down, things like that. That's negative. So we should not do that.
그래봐. 근데 단대 자는 거는 지금 나도 개발 막 야보에 먹여 막 모시는데 저는 나도 야보시라래. 드리자 소소 직강이로 제외 가발이야. 나한테 저도 나라 지방에 내 일단 네가 샘지 차상 되는지 뭐요 고쳐버리 쇼섬나 고똥이 냐면도 개발랍 쇼사로 그래서.
And so through experiencing that kind of fear, is, again, like I said before, try to think that, oh, nobody likes this kind of fear, so may no one have this kind of fear. And then you pray for the welfare of others, and it becomes a very powerful practice, and then that experience can become a condition for you to create more merit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
My question is, from one action, is this saying that it results in 4 types of results, or one action results in one type?
Yeah, you can have all 4 kinds of negative, results, yeah, from one action, yeah.
Penga la said that Dangazo Jung sold over Chevayana, Nami Devala Nyavan.
So if you create a negative karma of killing, a complete negative karma of killing, the complete, in a sense, like which has everything, right? The motivation, the intention, the action, and the conclusion. So if you had everything together, then it becomes complete, right? So if you have a complete negative karma of killing, then the rapid result, you'll be born in the hell realm.
And then no Jindala and Solo Middle Kivana, say to you, name of the legacies.
And as a result, and so the corresponding, with the experience, in this life, even if you're born as a human being, and you'll have a short life. That with the corresponding, there is experience.
And then nothing.
So yes, the short life, with full of sickness and so forth.
Ani Sheba Jindala and the Kur Mishambada, Masochevana, Tingdola, and Suzoyan Socha Gauda generous.
And the result corresponding with the cause in terms of the experience, in terms of behavior, you'll be fond of killing.
And then Dandela, and Karo, Zatu down, Sozolan, Zochikare, Tujamingi.
And then the environmental result, will be you'll have in a place, where there's a lot of killings going on, no good facilities for living and so forth.
Today the Kajota Tanda Pena, Sosolomba Majas, the gender one roach, and the Kadina one each other the gender of the day was.
And so we were born in a place like where there's a famine and a war and all the going on all the time, or born with a body full of diseases and so forth.
They Mata de la de Jung in some Chata transmit Mikiwasana, Tinda was shading yourself. Mikiwasasi Kanga Lawyo.
And so this is for the full or complete negative karma, with all the intention, the action and conclusion.
Then although Tandichana Nandorona, Pache, Kiwan Mother Mambo Sata.
So we have also created all this kind of negative karmas, in our previous lives, and some of them may have been purified, or some of them, or many of them, have still been in our consciousness.
But the Margin was Margin doing the Lataco, Lega, Tamon Rodeo, somebody was.
So somebody who goes, on a war, right? Goes on a war, which means, going to kill somebody else, right? The other party. And so there you have the intention, the motivation, right? And then you have the action, where you go out and fight and kill, And then at the end you have the conclusion, the completion or conclusion, where you generate the sense of satisfaction, saying, yes, I did it, and I killed the others, and now I won, I won and I got the victory and so forth. So that thought, when you have, then you have the complete and negative karma of killing.
That tender much, Mujan Rode Major the Maratan, Pigi Maran, the Michi say, could some Taku Majorana, couldn't get the Pachana Sago.
So like that, you create the complete negative karma, right? But if somebody was forced to go into the army, right? So there's a rule of the country that you have to go in the army, but you don't have intention, you don't have motivation to go in the war. And then, but you went to the war, and then you, of course, you had to use the gun, and you fired at somebody, and then somebody got killed, and you feel very bad. So, I killed somebody, and it was so bad. Then you don't have the conclusion, the sense of satisfaction that, yes, I killed that person. You don't have that satisfaction, and you feel remorse, for having to do that, and therefore you have not created a complete negative karma of killing.
That tell the pig pena Tamu Rode Mad in a cool cheap patch was done Dixon or something, Tatu Sada in a young news to me, the young take Sango Mars.
And so even if you have the sense of satisfaction at the end, saying that, yes, now this is over, I killed another person, now they will not call, not come back and not come to kill me, and this is good and like that. So you have that, but then you didn't have the motivation and the intention. Therefore, it's still not complete.
Okay, but they will become more details, I think, in the later.
So later it will talk about more about the karma, where you commit but not created. Where you have where you have created but not accumulated, where you have accumulated but not created. So like, you accumulate the karma by doing it, right? But you didn't intentionally go and create it, And so things like that. So we'll talk about more later, It's a little confusing, but then it becomes clear as we study.
Okay. 단 내시와의 가르치 시와서 내리 나돌지 가르치 나가서는 대 말했어. 내리 시와의 강아지와 끼워 넘어들 뭐 제사 버려서 고. 그래서 다 단대자 아니 뭐만데 서브제들이 프레시에들 왔어.
So we should not take this, as to scare ourselves, but to educate ourselves, right? So something that's taught in the teaching to let us know what it is and how we can stop it in the future.
근데 나라서 다들 지금 잠을 오지 못 먹어도 근데 가와래 수소는 어때 끼워 넘어지 내 사샤다 되게 치는데 뭐 보지고 가로 답답신 남들 셔도기로 왔어.
And so when we go through different kind of experiences, then we question ourselves, why is this happening to me, right? And so in the teaching, it says that, because it is it's the result of negative karma that we have created in the previous lives, and by meeting or coming across some kind of condition, and then it ripened into that form of suffering now.
내가 저다 제 되지 매번에 다 빠진지 추켈랭이 밀랭이나 빠지 영원도 마치 켈랭이 말아 왔어. 다 저다 제 가는 오다는데 그래서 말 시작으로 왔어.
And so there has to be cause and conditions, right? So even if you are not accepting Dharma, but you can still accept that cause and condition, So nothing can happen without a cause and condition. But then you have to understand the Dharma to understand the cause. So what cause, did I create, to have this experience?
대다 람림도 고려야 나도 고아 섭을 렐레야고 맞나? 다 밀레시나 고로 차는 거더라.
And so if you don't understand it well, it can become like a thing to scare others.
근데 근데 성도 왔을 때 정말 별이야. 아니 라마제스. 아니 고가디나 다 미망설아야 진짜 와마 또 알레지는 성도 와서다. 아니 개복하는 개복 미망하시는 거로 성스고 같은데 작을선도 대 저한테 개복은 고 미망하시는 시는 고 받아 가다. 개무마 돌리지 않다리. 아니 미망가 성도는 다시 그들이 용어로 왔어. 내가 가서 차선 렌데로 또 하거나 그야 보여로 와.
So like His Holiness tells the story about an abbot who goes to teach Dharma, and then people become very scared, or at least his attendant thinks that he's scaring the people. And so some visitor came to see the abbot, and then the attendant said, "Oh, abbot is not here." So he says, "Where's the abbot?" And he said he went to scare the old folks. So it means like we went to teach Dharma, to the old folks, but instead of teaching Dharma, it becomes like scaring them. And so that's why to not interpret in that way, we have to understand the meaning, the real meaning. So therefore that we have to study all the time.
And the Kazan Tambourine Yachala to Sonsos. The lam-rim to Chingon Tanging Namba and it's naturally Tewa Yingi, Tembo Yingi, Tatazola Sierras. The Chazalaji Shadana co Sharpenton Martel, Lojong, and a loaded of Jaguar song to throw.
Called lam-rim there.
Number Muni set up the regular gate. Gangi Kayomar was Chadana Labdana, and when it's Kushana and Rochard or things that they might have said, Lojong Shamba loaded down to the and a tramta, what the song was.
So His Holiness also said that this teaching on the lam-rim, the graduate path to enlightenment, should be taught to somebody who already have a belief in Buddhism, who have some basic understanding about Buddhism, and who can accept it. Others, who don't accept it, then it's better not to talk about that because it becomes like a scaring to them, And for them, it will be maybe, more beneficial to talk about, the mind and the mental factors and about tenets and so forth.
Lojong Yabu Shanani Tangandu Koalagra, Lojong Shat Nachuka, Lojong Nachu, Lojong Yabachi, Koyabrana, Zoka Leto was Shankala Kawadover.
So once you have studied about those topics about the mind, mental factors, and so forth, and according to the Buddhist tradition, Buddhist text, then you will have some understanding about Dharma. And then for those who have some understanding about Dharma, and then you can teach them the lam-rim, then it will be beneficial.
Okay. Yes. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, very
So when I was a little kid, I killed thousands of ants. And I rejoiced in killing thousands of ants. So I completed a lot of killing karma. Now,
You need to. When I was kid, I know I had to kill. Also, I killed the eggs. The birds killed the egg. The kind of some chicha, the chicha. The lazima chicha kind of thing. So
he did just for fun. So our curiosity, he was curious what is inside there, and then he broke it. So whenever he find a bird nest with an eggs, he will look and then break it and see what it is inside there, just for out of curiosity, not intention to harm others, or not rejoicing anything like that. But he said he did like that. So that must be the result, corresponding to the cause, in terms of behavior.
Okay, now you didn't finish your
purification of that. So when we say, that the Bodhisattva, you confess everything that you've done for all lives, but I'm really worried about those negative karma. So is it possible to apply purification to specific events? Like, I want to purify this, and just this, and nothing else but this, because it's so bad. Can you do that?
Yes, this is more powerful. You identify something you did negative karma, you also more grow. So the Muslim that they die and then the tissue chair was. Not die the passage Tawa showed and the Bakarigar Sashago. Did Dipa Bangos another Eva, Tawala Chiro on the Eva. Kanjinazo Sojourner gave a chunk of Niba Koso as one of courses. That should be chamber, only chamber and to kill 2 children as well.
So, for it to become the antidote. So we talk about the 4 powers of antidotes. The 4 powers of antidote. So first of which is regret, right? And so having that, and then understanding that was negative karma, and then the basis, right? So you have known the basis, the ants that you have killed, and then you have the regret for doing that, and then you make a promise not to do that again, right? So in order to do that, if you identify the negative karma, specific negative karma, then it's easy. Okay, so I killed those many ants, and I'm not going to kill them again in the future. Yeah? And then with that thought, then you apply the actual antidote with some kind of practice, for Vajrasattva mantra or prostrations, or whatever practice you do, meditation on compassion, loving kindness, or emptiness, whatever practice you do, that will become the antidote, the real antidote. But with that, you have to have the sense of regret. And afterwards, you have to make a strong promise not to do that again. Yeah? And if you do that, then it becomes really, then it can really be purified. The negative karma can really be purified if you do with that, And so in this case, because you remember that, you know that, you identify that, therefore it's easier to think like that, And so, yeah, definitely. And at the same time, you can also think of other negative karmas as well. When you do that, it won't take it away, So if you think about other negative karma, it doesn't mean that this negative karma will be less purified. It's not like that. So you can include as many as we want. You can be more greedy in this sense. And so identify the negative karma as negative karma is important, So because then you know it, right? And then otherwise, if it's just general, you don't know which one it is really exactly, right? And you just say general, So, but there's no specific one, so you don't really prevent that, And you just generally not doing it. It's doesn't become that much effective. But if you know it, then it's so there's a confession ceremony for the monks, novice and fully ordained monks, there's a confession ceremony twice a month they do in the monastery, and they always ask at the end, so did you see the negative karma, the negative as negative? And he says, yes. Will you do it again in the future? He said, no. So that's the confession part.
And the Tigala Travataka, Nimachon, the Kunibata, who getting not the Nibata Kesons, and Mama Channel quite loud.
And then of course,
But they don't know the trial, so they channel love Martin.
So, of course, it's not possible to do, when there's a big group of monks, right? But in the small group, then you have to say it. You have to, say it out loud what you did wrong. So, did you see that? Yes. What did you do? I did this. I did that. And you have to say it out loud, and then you make a promise in front of everybody not to create that again. But anyway, that's a monk business, so you don't have to know it.
You're still creating karma, though. Even I thought you said a few weeks ago that even if it's not a complete action, it still is creating karma, but you're not creating the karma of, say, the killing per se. Okay.
Yes, of course. So the karma and the complete karma, the karma of killing and the complete karma of killing, that's the difference.
But we still create some kind of negative karma, even if we didn't mean to kill. Because I should probably ask you about it later, but I have carpenter ants eating my house. And I struggle about what to do about it.
When people ask me, I have no answers. Really have to say. They will,
The best answer.
Well,
Can I give a best?
Wendy with this, and I said, but somebody else is going to kill them.
You have to say, like I'm the teacher, I say, okay, go to kill them. No good.
Yeah.
You say,
말해. 강바 시키려고 그래. 강바 시키려고 그래. 강바 개개지 마라.
that's Kalikaura. Anyway,
근데 뭐 지나 뒤쳐라다. 냠는 뭐이나? 또 수수 불러 된 거다 강바 강해.
다들 냠름만 도모도 다들 지금 와서 소소소 보자. 당가도 때 Kalikaura 왔어.
No, it depends on what level of practitioner you are, So, of course, ant is sentient being, right? If you cause harm to the sentient being, then there's not harm just in this life, but, the harm in many lives, right? And it could even lead you to the hell realm. So if you say, somebody said, okay, I'm going to protect you from falling into the hell realm, but just give me your house. Just give me your house. Give me your house, and I'll make sure that you will not fall into the lower realm.
Who said that?
If somebody says that to you, will you give your house? Yes, happily take my house. Where you'll be tortured through 24/7. So like that, So depending on the level of practitioner you are, right? So the actual way is to give up the house, not kill the ants, but give up the house. Let it ruin the house, let it eat the house, but not kill it. That's the real practitioner. But not saying that you should do that. And I guess he can't tell you to do that.
No,
but depending on So some great practitioners, when they have germs in their body, they would rather let the germ eat the body, but not kill the germ. So it depends on what level of practitioner you are. Not saying that, if you are not at that level, if you try to do that, then maybe it gets even worse. So don't do that. But if you're at that level where you can give up your house, then do it.
지와야 되겠다. 소소 개개로 되기나? 소소대 그로. somebody hold matana. 개개로 지금 막 가나는 대 맞는 찡매래. 쟤는 찡매래. 백강에 되도 소소고다. somebody hold 단에 리서치 해야 되겠지 모르셔.
So, sometimes when you ask your teacher certain questions or for advices, right? So I'm having this, what should I do? Then once the teacher gives you the advice, then you have to follow that. That if you don't follow the advice, then you're transgressing that, the connection, the vow between the vow between the teacher and disciple, right?
And also, my husband's Catholic, so he's split. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
He would never. Like, he studied Buddhism and doesn't want to do it either. But
it's difficult, so we have to be careful about what advices we ask,
No, exactly. My husband's going, why don't you just ask Geshe? I'm like, because I'm not going to like the answer.
근데 다 시제도 제 마음으로도 왔어. 지금 마부티 쟤는 마치 마부도 왔어.
So, I don't know if you have heard about this funny story about Robina. She says she will never go to see Lama Zopa Rinpoche for advice. Well, Rinpoche would say, oh yeah, that's good, yeah, you do this, and she couldn't do most of that, and she said, better not ask, I'm not going to ask. And so one time she wanted to see Lama Zopa Rinpoche, for a blessing, and the Rinpoche said, stay and talk. She says, no, I don't need to talk, I want just get the blessing and run away.
Something today,
it's not that she doesn't have faith in Lama Zopa Rinpoche, right? But she's very skillful, not to get too much, things to do and not be able to do, and then you break, the commitment with your guru, that's not good. So yeah, then some people, they just go and ask for all these advices, but then they don't do it, right? Then what's the use? It's just wasting time, and would either become like other gossiping. So if you want to have advice, then be sure that you will be able to follow that advice. And carefully, not so I can ask him another question. So same in the monastery, there's a disciplinarian who disciplines all the monks. So he has the right to say yes or no, right? Yeah, this is the rule, this is the discipline, this is not the discipline. And if you ask about him and if he says yes, this is the discipline, you should do that, then you have to do that. So you should not ask him things that you will not be able to do it. Because once he says yes, this is the discipline, then you have to do it.
Therefore, very skillful, right? Skillful. And that's some of the that's the moment singular was. So to decide.
So yeah, in this case, it's up to you, to decide what will be best for you. What you can do, whether you can do what level of practitioner you are, so you cannot say. So up to you to decide.
Okay, yeah. Take care of your question.
Yeah, I'm really confused with this topic, karma. It's been explained to me many times, but I still get very confused. When you have a good intention to do something, and you're doing something with a good intention, and it goes bad. I thought good's supposed to get good, bad's supposed to get bad, but when you do something good and it goes bad, I have a real hard time understanding that whole thing.
Oh yeah, your intention has to go with the skill also, So even if you had a good intention, but if you are not very skillful in doing the things, then it can become bad, So you have to have all this, to become good. All different kind of causes and conditions all together, and becomes good. So even though if you have good intention, and then with that you do something, to others, because of the way you do it, you can make difference. And so you have to be very careful in doing it right way. And then again, you have to be skillful in that. You have to understand the other person, and when you say or do something for them, you have to know what will be best, for them. And then.
So what will happen if you've got good intention and you have real good intention to do something, and then it goes bad? But what's the karma thing, even though you have good intention and it goes bad?
So again, we talked about the complete karma, right? So it will not be, complete negative karma, but it can become a negative karma. So let's say you have a good intention, and then with that, you slap somebody. Can you slap somebody with a good intention? You can, but anyway. So what kind of example can you give?
You're trying to be helpful with somebody, like in a situation. Let's say I'm with an alcoholic and I'm trying to help them not drink, and I have a good intention, and then they...
How do you help them not drink?
I get them to detox and all that kind of stuff, and then you get them there and they don't want to go, and you took them there with a good intention to go to detox, and to get them there medically you let them drink in the car, but then you get them there and they don't want to go, but you gave them the booze to get them there safely so they didn't die in your car. It was a good intention.
No, how did it become bad?
Because they won't go to detox.
But that's not bad.
That's not bad.
I mean, they didn't want to do
Well, I
that.
gave
You didn't do
them to
that.
help them get to the detox. You see what
So
I'm
you're
saying?
giving boost.
It was bad?
It could, well, it was good to keep them alive, but then they didn't do what they said their part was, so it's like...
Yeah, but your part of doing bad was just giving the boost, right?
Right.
So that was bad for them?
Well, it was good to keep them alive.
Depending on the situation, what can become good and what can become bad, So if it was bad for them, if it became bad for them, then of course, it's a bad action, right? You were not very skillful to do that, although you had a good intention. But so that, let's say you give them boost and then that killed them, right? So then it's a bad negative karma, or it made that situation worse, then it's bad, right? So in that case, yes, making the situation worse or killing them is a bad, but you didn't have that intention. Therefore, it was still bad, but it's not that bad. Not as complete karma, because you don't have the motivation, the intention. It's not complete, but it's bad. So because of that, it can become bad, So because of not knowing the right thing to do, or knowing how to do it skillfully, it can become bad. So just like Mahatma Gandhi said, don't listen to all the things, don't say all the things, and don't, look at all the things, so all sorts of things that can give you a lot of problems. So if we think carefully about those meanings, it's really good advice. If we don't think, then it's just depicting the monkeys, covering their ear, eye, and mouth.
Do you saw the picture? Yeah, there's really very big advice. Whatever problems, we say something, they go to, even if we have good intention, they go wrong way. We heard something, I heard something like that, then you talk them, right? You say, I saw that, they create the problems. We just looking at them, like, hey, how is it? Like, I think they say, Buddha said, subdue to your mind. This is the teaching of Buddha. The first, yourself very strong, perfect, then you can help for others. Okay, that's it, now we stop. That's too much. Okay, thank you.
Please turn to page 39 of the Kurukulla Center Prayer Book for Thanksgiving Mandala offering. Saji perki juxing me tok tram ri rab ling jing yi de gien pa di sangye jing du ming te uwar gi drokun nam dag jing la chur pa shu Jitsun lame kutse rab ten ching nab ka twin le chok chur gi pa dang lo sang ten pe drun me sa sung gi droe mun sel tag tu neg yur chi Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. Tsongkhapa's final lam-rim prayer. From my 2 collections, vast as space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. The short, long life prayer for His Holiness. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chen Rezik remain in life till samsara's end. Prayer that spontaneously fulfills all wishes. Tong yi ning je zum du ju pe lam che che se ze gong chen tender gun chog na pe mo tenzin gyatso la so dev so jeden lun dru shu. Page 49, the short long life prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Tok tso chang jing jam gun gyalwei tenzin kyong pelwei kunzo do podze chok sun kurwei legman tu dru padar so du je gun du jab ten shu. Page 57, prayer dedication. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious Supreme Bodhi Mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Page 75, Nyingtse-ma. Nigme tse wei ter chen chen rezik dreame kien pei wang po jam pe yang gong chen ke pei tsu gen Tsongkhapa lo sang drak pe jab la so Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you very much, Geshe-la. Thanks, Namcho. Just short announcements. I hope Family Day went great. I know yesterday was Family Day, and then we've got coming up at the end of the month, we have Reiki class. If anyone wants to sign up, we've got a Reiki 1 class that will be on Saturday the 30th, and then Sunday the November 1st. Anyone interested, come to me, or you'll see check the newsletter out. There's a Reiki at Kurukulla.org that you can email as well if you're interested. We have got coming up, we still have all our raffle tickets being sold. Please join in. We're gonna, it's a wonderful amount of devices that we have, thanks to Annette for all the organizing of all this. And then, and so please continue, and after classes you can bump into me or I think Annette, and then just let us know and you can get tickets from us. And then we also have our November, I always get the dates wrong. When is the celebration? November 14th. So on November 7th, Geshe has kindly accepted to do the 4-arm Chenrezig Zhenang. That will be during the Sunday class. Bring some offerings if you'd like the day before, so we can make sure we have the altar set up for the day. It's wonderful. You don't have to. You can just take it as a blessing, or you can then do the full Zhenang with Geshe. Also, when you do the Zhenang, then you have that special teacher. It makes the connection with Geshe so much closer. So it's really wonderful that we have that opportunity. Hey, yeah.
Talk to him before we do it, like with other things. Can we talk to you before we decide to take it, or how does that work?
So the real way is like you said, the people, when they go to receive initiation, then go to the teacher and say, can I receive the initiation? And then when you get the permission, and then you receive it. Of course, like, Mary said, it forms the guru-disciple connection or relationship, and which means, you have to see him as a guru, and then there's always commitments that you have to follow. So, it would be good to know that. So.
Right.
And then on the 14th, we have our birthday party for Kurukulla Center. It's, And do you want to speak to it, or should I speak to it? You can.
A little bit more information.
I think that's all from
My side. We will, if anyone wants, we will be raking leaves after class. If you want to join in and help, we've got the rake the bags and everything. We will do it every second week. Yes, Chris? No, we do leaves. And then also, we have this conflict, which I need to figure out. We rake leaves every second Sunday, and every second Sunday we have Geshe talk with us about practice. And so today, 12:15, we'll have the discussion with her. So, come to that and then rake afterwards, whatever time you have. I always rake like a little tiny bit at the speed of white light before. And I think that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. So November 14th is the Kurukulla's 25th anniversary celebration. It's going to be at Medford Town Hall at 7 o'clock, 7 to 10. And the idea is that it's a celebration, obviously, of the 25-year anniversary, but also we're trying to make it like an exchange of Western and Tibetan culture. So we're having Tibetan and Western music, and also Tibetan and Western foods. And we are encouraging everyone to be interested in maybe donate some their food or their time, and we're also looking for sponsors for the event for some of the music and some of the expenses that we're incurring. So there will be an email going out about it, but I just want to give everybody the heads up. We actually have tickets online available starting this weekend, actually, and that link will go out and you can buy tickets online. Tickets are reasonably priced. They're $12, I think, for pre-sale, and $15 at the door. But so it'll be a night of enjoying each other's company and celebrating and supporting the center. So I hope that everyone can attend and support the energy of the event. So thank you very much.